Hello, everyone. This is Life Lessons of a Military Wife at Real Military Wives TV. And today I thought I would talk a little bit about girlfriends, being a girlfriend to a military guy. I do have a headset on today. I'm so sorry about the previous video I did that the sound was just all screwed up. And, I'm a total neophyte beginner when it comes to webcams and that kind of thing. So I didn't know what I was doing. Typical, I guess, when it comes to electronics and that kind of thing. But back to the subject. So we're going to talk about being a girlfriend. I kind of Googled it earlier this morning, and I didn't really see a lot out there on being a military girlfriend. I did see a lot of Facebook pages, I wanted to say, and there's one called Military Wife / girlfriend, the toughest job in the military. I think they almost have 3,000 members. And I love someone in the military with over 300,000 members. So, and there's some message boards out there too. There are military girlfriends out there researching what the life is like and connecting with other girlfriends, and in some cases also connecting with military wives. And I think that's a really great thing. There was always this stigma with the military girlfriend versus the military wife, being threatened and that kind of thing. But I'm just happy that people are out there researching what the life is like and trying to learn more about their boyfriends and what they do. I try to think about way back when I first met my husband. He's in the Army. And granted, I was in the military as well. I was also in the Army, so it was a little bit different for me. But I can still see, the dashing figure in the uniform, they have the manners, the self-confidence and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of that they get during basic training. It's intense training that they have to go through. And way back when also, when I was in the military, and my last job was as a basic training company commander. And I loved graduation day because were the days leading up to graduation, when the parents would come and girlfriends and spouses and stuff. And I can't tell you how many moms just walked by their kids. They didn't even recognize their kids. They carried themselves better. They just had manners. They just were very confident in themselves, and of course very physically fit. They looked good, and the uniform helps too, of course. But it's just different, and that's probably one thing. I don't know, maybe that drew you to your boyfriend, the way he looks. And but I just want to talk about some things that you just, especially if you've never been around military life, and you have like these big plans for the weekend, let's say, and your boyfriend will come to you and say, last minute, I'm so sorry, but I just can't go. Something came up at work. And as a civilian, you may not think about it, but the military comes first. Even military families, we have a big thing about military families and how important the military family is. And the military is putting more emphasis on the family, but truly, bottom line, I don't care. You can, rehash it, whatever, look at it from many different angles, but the bottom line is the military comes first. Mission comes first, whatever that soldier's mission is. I don't care if he's a mechanic, a cook, a communication specialist, whatever. If that unit has a last-minute exercise that they have to do, or let's say he has an inspection at work that he has to be at, or there's an emergency meeting, or just anything going on. He has to basically drop what he's doing. I don't care what, even if it's in the middle of dinner. A lot of these guys carry around Blackberries and phones, iPhones, whatever, to stay in more contact with their unit, so now it's easier to get a hold of them. But things happen, and they have to go back. And some of these guys, in the military, you also have a security clearance, secret, top secret, that kind of thing. And I'm not saying that every day of their work has to do with this kind of stuff, but they are privy sometimes to, need to know information, and they can't always talk about their job and what they do every day. And A lot of civilians are used to their, husbands or boyfriends come home and you're going to talk about your day. And I do that with my husband. We talk about, who we talked to and what we did and some of the interesting things. But I just know that there are certain things that he just cannot talk about and he won't talk about and I'm not going to ask about. I mean, if he wants to freely give the information, he knows what he's allowed to talk about and he will. Or he won't. And we just don't make a big deal about it. We just know that there are some things that I just don't know about what he does in his daily job or even long term. And you have to realize that too as a military girlfriend. You are just not going to know everything about that guy. I mean, some guys are just secretive anyway. I don't know, whatever. But just know that that's part of military life too. You're just not going to be like one person, just two is one, know everything the other person knows. It's just not going to happen if you're going to get together with a military guy. Okay, so I talked about unpredictability and there may be some areas that you can't 100% connect on. The other thing is just having access to posts. A lot of these guys live in the barracks, and there are very strict rules against having overnight guests in the barracks. And I don't know, you're going to go get a hotel, maybe go away for the weekend, maybe you'll stay at your house, but a lot of times you just can't go. You have to plan things ahead of time. How you're going to get together and do whatever you're going to do, and he'll have to sign you into post every single time you come onto post. He's going to have to sign you in at the front gate. You're going to have an ID with you, either a passport or a driver's license or some kind of picture ID to get you in there. And then once you're in there, they have the commissary and the PX places you can shop, but you won't be allowed to shop in there. I mean, you can. I think most military posts. I'm trying to think. I know in the old days in the States, for some of the posts, you weren't even allowed inside. I mean, they checked your ID right at the door. So, you can try to go in with them and that kind of thing. And the food courts and places like that are fine. The clubs, there's usually some kind of club on post, kind of like a dining establishment, and they have music and DJs and, fun stuff, bowling alleys and other stuff like that. As long as you're with him, you're fine with that kind of thing. Let's see. The military, each of the services calls it something different, but for the Army, we have these things called family readiness groups. And it's like a go-between between the command, the official word from that company, battalion, that military unit, with the spouses and wives and that kind of thing. But we've also opened it up to girlfriends and even like the parents of single soldiers. A lot of times there are newsletters that are done by the commander, especially if they're downrange. He'll write up a little thing, how's it going and what they're up to, just generalizations, no real details, anything that could compromise the mission or anything like that. But just as a way to stay connected. And a lot of times they have events too, so they'll have like ladies' night out. Maybe you'll go out to restaurants or do like a craft day, or you'll come in and do something. Sometimes you can raise money, if you have a goal, like to raise money for homecoming, for when they come back home, like a party, or maybe you want to do a yearly picnic, or just stuff like that. You can help out with that. And I used to, honestly, me personally, I used to love it when girlfriends got involved. Now like I talked earlier about the stigma, there are still some military wives out there, and you're just going to have to get over it because they're just out there, and I don't like it either, but, they believe what they want to believe, and if they want to be in their little shell, that's fine, but they think, there's something special, and they don't really like to see the military girlfriends hanging out and being involved. Maybe they feel with their husband, I don't know, whatever the reason. And I really don't care because I'm really happy when girlfriends, they want to help with even things like the calling list, keeping track of the emails, all that admin stuff that you sometimes need help with, or just creative ideas on things that you can come up with. Usually it's the girlfriends that have all the great ideas, and So I don't have a problem with it. And I've even had like military moms help. Like I had one donate a statue. I mean, $200 statue for a raffle. We call it an opportunity because we're not used to have raffles in the military. But she donated that, and I've had them make quilts and just they want to be involved, and I like that because it's one big family, and that's the other thing about the military. It is one big family, and whether you go from one post to the next post, there are certain things that are the same. The process of in processing that post and getting housing and a commissary and PX and all the services, legal and finance and all these things that have to do with the military. It's going to be the same on each post. That's kind of a comfort. It's just like going home when you go on a post. You know exactly what's on there. You see the sign for whatever, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's in that building. It's that familiarity that I really like. One thing that I want to bring up too, being a military girlfriend, everybody has a different personality, obviously, but I think to be successful as a girlfriend and also as a wife or spouse, you have to be pretty independent, I would say, to make it work. These guys leave at a moment's notice. They could be gone for Lord knows how long. Sometimes you don't even. Sometimes that's the worst part. Not knowing when they're coming home. It's nerve-wracking. You'll eventually figure out a way to deal with it, but I'll just tell you at the beginning, it is nerve-wracking. It's stressful, and you're going to be, doing the bills or doing all this stuff that has to do with the home, and you'll be making some decisions on your own. Let's say you live together. In some instances, if the soldier is of a higher rank, they can live off post. They don't have to live in the barracks or housing for the single soldiers. And there's some things that you're going to have to be responsible for. So keep that in mind. You can't be totally dependent on that soldier to do everything for you. And that's another thing about following your boyfriend overseas. I totally understand you wanting to be together with him, but bad idea. Other than, for shorter time periods, let's say to visit. First of all, on your American passport, you can only stay for 90 days in Europe without a visa. Anything beyond that, you have to apply for a visa. So a student visa, you have to go to school somewhere over there. Or a work visa, someone would have to hire you ahead of time, and that's highly unlikely unless you have some kind of really good skill or something that a firm would be willing to hire you for, and you speak the language, and all those kinds of things. I know some girlfriends who followed their boyfriends over there, and you can't even go on to post. You were out there on the economy, sitting and waiting while your boyfriend's at work, and you have to wait for him to come get you. If you have an international driver's license, fine, you can drive, but you're not allowed to drive his car on the post. And he has to sign you on the post every single time. Most things are on post, so then there's that obstacle. Basically, you're just waiting around. You can't work. Even simple jobs. You may find something under the table, but what happens if you get sick? You have to see a doctor or just all that stuff. I just encourage you, just don't be dependent on someone. And in the long run, you have to be independent, be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Don't look at some military guy as your, meal ticket out.